Guys, Noah here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be going over 2D and so on lists. So as always, open up your idle. If you don't know where I am, go watch the first video in this playlist. I have a whole video explaining how to download idle, how it works and whatnot. Let's get started. So what a 2D list is, it's a list that's inside of a list. So in Python, you can really go as far as you want. You can do a list inside of a list inside of another list. But for this video, I'm just going to show you 2D lists and then just like show you how another, like a 3D list would work. But I'm not really going to go too far into that. So let's get started. So this video is actually going to be really short. So should be really short. I'm going to say that instead of being like 10, 15 minutes long. But we know the syntax of our list. We have this. And then we can fill it up anything that we want. Call it a day. So with the 2D list, so I'm going to say 2D list. What we do, I'll just write this out and then I'll explain it to you guys. So now every single index for this example is its own list. I'll do one more. D, E, and F. Cool. So if you notice now, so our indexes, I only did 3, so I'll do 3 just so it lines up with you guys. So for our normal list, we know that this is index 0, index 1, index 2, and this length of the list is 3. For this list, it's actually the exact same thing. This whole thing now is index 0. This whole thing now is index 1. And this whole thing now is index 2. And then obviously the length of this list is 3 things long. 1, 2, and 3. So they work functionally the same thing, the same way. It's just now that we can run double for loops in, which I'll go over in a few videos from now. That's why I wanted to introduce 2D list. But yeah, they work the exact same. But now, if I want to get, let's say, 2D, I gotta spell it right, of 0. So typically, we know that they just give us like a value. So I'll get both of them. We'll say, and C is equal to A of 0, and then we'll print our C. So when we got 2D list, which is our what we call their list, and then remember this syntax gives us index 0. So now B is equal to a list of itself in itself. So like normally when we're calling index, we're used to just getting like a number, a letter, so an integer, a string, or a float. But now we're actually getting an entire list as a value when calling a certain index spot. So that's what 2D lists can grab us. And then actually a really cool thing now is now since they're 2D, we can go too deep when finding indexes. So if I were to say this, take a minute, take a guess. What do you think that B is going to be equal to? All right, hopefully you thought about it. So if we look at our example here, so we know that 2D list of 0 brings us to this whole list of A, B, and C. But now A, B, and C is a list of itself. So A, B, C is a list containing A, B, and C. So now we know that that's a list. So now if we go to another index, now 1. So 0 brings us to here, and then 1 brings us to here. So now B, coincidentally, is going to be equal to B. So you can call as far in with indexes as you want, as long as you properly call it. Like if I did this, for example, it's going to shoot me an error because once we're inside of this list, there isn't another list inside of it that I can call. So yeah, that's honestly the coolest way to do it. And I'll show you guys as well. We'll say, print out the length of it. Show you guys it's still functionally the same thing. It's still 3 things long, and I still can't spell at all. There you go. So yeah, the length of this list is still 3, but now each index contains a list. And then if we want a specific part as like this, we write both. And that's really all I had for 2D lists. Just to show you that they're functionally this exact same thing as normal lists. It's just now that you can call too deep inside of it. So for the quiz, it's going to look a little bit different. We're actually going to be using what I already have. So we have this thing called 2D list. So for the first part of the quiz, I'm actually going to have you guys make your own 2D list that contains a bunch of strings. And then for a bonus, I'm going to have you guys make any 3D list. Just a bonus, just try it on your own. I'll just like quickly touch on it after. But 3D list, so we know that 2D is we have a list inside of a list. So a 3D list would be a list inside of a list inside of another list. So just give it a try. If not, don't worry about it. And then for the rest of this, we're going to say, so write the code would get 1, and we'll say F, and then we'll say 2, 3. So what I mean by this is that we wrote this line of code, and we know that that gave us B. So now I want you guys to write the line of code that will give us 1, which is right here, that can be found here. Gives us F, which is here, and then gives us this whole list of 1, 2, 3. So write out that code that gives you those answers. So go ahead, pause the video, take a minute, do this quick quiz. I'll get back to you guys. All right. Hopefully you paused it and got it. We're going to go over it. So first thing is make your own 2D list that contains a bunch of strings. So we'll just say strings is equal to, so we know we need our list, and now we just got to make stuff inside of it. So we'll just say hi, and we'll say bye, and then I'll just do another index because why not? Hey. Okay, cool. So if you have any sort of 2D list, like anything like this, you can have as many indexes as you want inside of here. But as long as you have these double brackets in the front and back and your code doesn't crash, that means you wrote a 2D list correctly. So there you go. There's your first part. So now I'll do the bonus, because why not? So as I said before, Python allows you to go as deep as you want with lists. So obviously we know we can start off by saying 1, 2, I don't know where the P came from. 1, 2, 3. So now we can say 3D, because now we're 3D. And then now it's inside of another list. 2D. So this looks pretty confusing. So I'm going to do, say, I don't even know. Say 3D again. We'll just have it be the exact same thing. Why not? Cool. So this looks very confusing, and it should. That's why I didn't really want to touch on 3D list. But basically, the length of our list is 2, if you can see it. So inside of this main list, we have 2 big lists. So there's 1, there's 2. But now each one contains another list. So inside of this list, we have another list. And their spots are lists. So there's your 3D list. So you have the 1, 2, 3. So now you're in 3D. So the length of this list would be 2, because remember you got the 2 spots, and then it does go 3 deep. So if you wrote anything kind of like this, as long as you really had these 3 brackets, and then things just inside of each other, you wrote a 3D list. That's all it is for 3 lists, and a 4D list would have 4 brackets to start and end it. That's how you know you really wrote it correctly. So that's just a bonus. So props to you if you got that. If not, that's why it's a bonus. So next thing is we want to write the code that would get us 1, F, and then the list of 1, 2, 3 from our thing above, if you remember. So I'm just going to print all of them, because why not? See if we wrote it right. So we need to call what we named our list. I called it 2D list. You could call it anything you wanted. So now we need to get into here for 1. So we know 1 is inside the list at index 1. So the first thing we want to call is 1, because this whole thing is index 0. This whole thing is index 1. But now we want to get to the first spot in index 1. Because index 1 is this whole list, but now we want to get to the first spot inside of that list. So then we need to get to spot 0. So that would be the first one. And then the second one. So now we want to get F. So I'm going to print it. So we need to write down the name of our list. So this guy now is spot 2. Because this whole thing is 0, whole thing is 1, and then this whole thing is 2. So now we got 2. And now we want the second thing inside of this list. Well, technically the third, but remember, index number 2. So remember, 0, 1, 2. So we're at index 2, which is this whole guy. And to go one more, to go deeper inside of him, we have to call it again. So now we need spot 2. And that'll give us our F. Sweet. And then for this last one, remember, so we need to write down our name of our list. And now we want the whole list of 1, 2, 3. So this one's a lot easier than the other ones. You remember this is spot 0. This is spot 1. And that's the whole list that we wanted. We wanted that one. So there we go. We got our spot 1. So now if we run this, there we go. We got our 1, F, and 1, 2, 3. That's all I have for you guys in this video. Make sure to leave a comment at all if you're confused or join the Discord. I'll be sure to answer it as soon as I can. Next video, we're going to be going over advanced dictionaries, which is saving values now as lists. So now we looked over lists inside of list, and then before with dictionaries, you saw keys and values, but now those values are going to be lists as well. So as always, make sure to like, subscribe if you're interested. Leave a comment if you're confused on anything, and I'll see you guys in the next video.